Welcome to Tulsa Titans, promoting our local business leaders who are making a difference. Today, I'm very excited. I have my business partner, Paul Nickens, here with me. He served our military. He's owned several small businesses. He's a professional poker player, and now he's the managing partner here at Newave Solutions. Paul, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Hey,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So to get this interview started, we're right past the first of the year. What are three things that you're consuming more of this year? And opposite side of that, what are three things that you may have consumed less of or you're completely giving up?
Sure. Yeah. So because we're inside and I hate being inside during the wintertime, plus we have COVID, I'm usually outside in the sun, fishing or just enjoying outside on a nice little run. Um, Three things that I'm consuming, I'm getting more sleep than I normally get. I'm drinking a lot of soda right now, which I shouldn't be. I should be drinking a lot of water, and I'm just eating more food. So I'm looking forward to it getting warmer so I can get outside, lose a few pounds, and stop putting bad stuff in my body.
Well, good. Yeah, with less soda, less food, right?
Right.
The cold weather can kind of do that to me too. Hey, so on the lines of success, I mean, especially you were a professional poker player. That takes a lot of discipline, a lot of learning. And now I've seen day to day what you've done to learn as this company's grown. Has there been like one guiding principle that's kept up year over year that's helped you on the track to success?
Yeah. Our number one value is put God first place. That's my daily thing. Get up in the morning, pray. Um, then think about my employees, think about the direction that we're going as a company, think about our customers and what they're going through on a daily basis through this COVID, and the winter time and stuff like that. It drives me to not fail us, our people, our customers, you, so you know, when you're alone by yourself playing poker, you're only failing you if you lose a game or lose some money or whatever it is. But when you have the success that we've had as a company and has trusted so many employees to work for us to take off different hats that we have done over the years, and now they trust us to make sure that we keep this train rolling. So getting up in the morning, just thanking God for what He gives us, waking us up. If we don't wake up, I mean, that's an issue as well. So just getting up in the morning, first thing, thanking God for what He's given us and what He can do through us. Just very thankful.
Oh, perfect. Well, and for a lot of the younger professionals that are going to listen to this, you started off with hey, it's gotten cold, so there's a couple things that I know that I know I've done them wrong before I shouldn't be doing, right? And you clearly define what your anchors are. So when a season hits, and COVID's been that season for a lot of people, but you and I've walked through the season. It's not always perfect. So when it gets difficult, what is your why, and what are a couple of the things that you do to get through that?
So it's you gotta say to yourself at one point is why do you do what you do? You, if you went through life only doing things for yourself, you would be selfish, right? If you get up every day and understand to be selfless, the why is easy answered. You do things because you make other people happy. You help lead them in a direction they need to go in to be successful. So your success should be only based on the success that you give others. So as a business owner, if you only think about yourself and only give yourself and take, you're not successful. That ain't success. Success is seeing the people that rely on you to make their ends meet. That makes you successful. Even if their walk with God, their walk with money, their walk with material, their walk with education on how to be a better father, husband, person. If you do that, then you're successful, in my opinion.
No, that's great. When you have an interesting perspective, so being very successful on your own and now running success with nearly 20 people, um, how do you distill what you just said through others? So how do you guide and give those principles to the team that you run?
So I have to go back and say, I don't think a person can be successful on their own. It leads to selfishness. A lot of small businesses stay small because they're not willing to let go and let others be successful. That's one thing that we've implored in our company not to happen. Um, so I'm not sure if that answered your question, but
No, it did. And then as others come along, or they struggle with the same thing, right? Maybe you see some selfishness, or they're just not moving the needle in the position that they need to. How do you distill your success or the values you have into the team?
so if I had somebody that was looking to start a business or to make their business better, is that what you're meaning?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say learn. Um, don't be scared to fail at anything. Just let that be a driving force to you. You know, everything in life is about sales, right? You're trying to sell something, sell yourself, sell your product, sell your business, whatever it is, sell your wife to
Oh,
to
yeah.
to get what you want, you know. So being that said, you have to learn from your failures to move forward. If you don't, then you'll just stay where you are.
No, that's great. That's great. Well, let me ask you this: as a seasoned professional, you've done this for several decades now. Um, if somebody's trying to learn, what I've seen as a pattern for young professionals, because there's so much content. I mean, now there's podcasts and books and audiobooks, social media tips. I've seen young professionals almost get anxious with the amount of content they're consuming. How do you really learn something? How do you identify what needs to be learned? How do you put it in practice?
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because um, too much information is not a good thing, right? So when you're getting when you're getting overloaded with information, how do you know what's real and what's not? How do you know what you should use and what you shouldn't use, right? How do you actually learn in that environment? I don't think you can. I think you have to define what your real goal is moving forward and then take small chunks of that. I mean, it's okay to listen to all these different people or read all these different books and listen to all these different podcasts, but if it doesn't align with your actual goal, why are you listening to it? Right?
So define your why first.
Exactly. You need to define that. And a lot of people will think they know what their why is, but is it written down somewhere? Did you write it down? Did you write down why you get out of bed every morning?
That's good.
Right? So you have to define your goals, define your why, define your direction, because if there's no definition for that, why are you doing anything?
No, that's wonderful. When I've been blessed enough to walk really closely with you for the last couple of years, and I know that you had a passion for the stock market and for fishing, and I've seen the fishing venture really blossom, and I saw you fail, which most people consider fail last year in the stock market. So can you kind of tell us about both? And then you're still doing stocks. Can you explain why you're still doing it and what it looked like to overcome failure?
Sure. So when I grew up, I grew up super poor. I mean, we didn't have anything. I grew up in the projects. So at an early age, I understood that if you wanted to be successful in my group, you either had to learn to play sports and be great at it, or you had to hustle. Right. Most people forget how to hustle. Being in the world that we've turned in of everybody gets a trophy, everybody gets given to them. No one's learned to hustle, right? No one's learned that aspect of life. As a business owner, for you to start a business or to become anything, you have to have an education of sort. I couldn't afford to go to college, so I went to the military, and that's where my education started. GI Bill, I got $12,000 to go to college. I took an online course on computers back in the 80s, and that's how I learned IT, self-taught. So everything that I've learned has been self-taught. We have the library, the greatest educational facility in the world, and people seldom utilizes it. There's so much free information in the world to give yourself, to educate yourself of what you're passionate about, but no one's really willing to use it. They want to pay someone to teach them or be taught or told how to do things. The joy of learning is failing. And so the stock market, the fishing, I love fishing. Fishing was a habit, a hobby that I grew up with my dad learning how to fish, and got into guiding because I was a good fisherman and people liked fishing with me. So I made it into a job, and it's a hard job, by the way. It's not easy to be a fishing guide and do the things that you love to do, but fishing is a passion of mine. I like being outside. It's my peace, my zen with God. I get to speak with him and being on the waters, what he made and what he given us that people don't take advantage of, that I love. So sharing that with others, the way my dad shared that with me, is just one of the joys that I have. The stock market, financial freedom. I mean, no one's ever taught me how to deal with money. So starting this business with you had to teach me how to deal with money, right? You have a choice as a business owner. You can take all the money that you have and spend it and just buy a bunch of crap and not reinvest that, right? So investing became something that I had to learn.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest investing education that I can give somebody, or you can get, is do the stock market. You'll learn really quick about how to invest, diversify, use your money properly to be successful. And yeah, I've learned it the hard way, because I don't have anybody to teach me. I'm reading books, I do it all the time. There's some books that I could recommend for that, but we could do that later. But still, there's things that you have to self-educate, and financial freedom is one of the things that no one gets taught. They don't teach it in school. I taught my son and daughter how to even balance a checkbook, even though no one uses checkbooks anymore. But I think it's important to teach that. You don't learn this stuff in school anymore. They don't teach financial freedom. They teach things that are unnecessary to prepare you in a world that you're going to go in that's not even relevant. So as a parent, you have to teach your kids the proper things that's going to help them. And one of them is financial freedom.
No, that's good. I mean, because even if our institutions lack on something, it's available. I mean, there's more resources than ever, as long as, like you said, you know what you want to go after, and learn hustle, because that'll get you through failure. And I'd back and say I've walked through failure with you, that you learn more failing fast than you do being successful right off the bat.
That's right.
And I like to tell everybody else, your self-worth goes up. When you learn and grow, now you're worth more as an individual than you were just being successful.
Absolutely. No one can take that from you.
So one last question, on the topic of learning, if the house was burning down, right, and you had two books that you could read over and over again, and you grabbed two books, what would those two books be and why?
I'd have to say there's more than two books, but I'll give you a series. One of them is the Sales Bible. I forgot the guy who wrote it, but there's several. There's a little black book. Who is it? Jeffrey Gitmore. The little black book of sales, the blue book, the Bible, all that stuff that he writes. An individual has to understand that in this world, everything is about selling, right? Selling yourself. You go to an interview, you're selling yourself to an employer. You have to learn and be comfortable with selling to be successful, right? And the only way to have a successful business is to sell your product, or sell yourself, or sell your services. People start businesses and don't even understand how to sell. Yeah. So, the Sales Bible, that whole series gets you started, gets your mind thinking about sales and marketing. And then it just takes you into a different direction of other books that you can learn. But the basics is that, and that's what I learned from. The second one, the second series, I will say, is Rule 1. And I forgot who wrote that book. But Rule 1 starts you out on investing. it talks about how to pick great stocks, what you're looking for. It's a long-term gain. People that want to get rich quick, you're not going to do it. I don't care what you read in the stock market. I've been there, done that. You're not going to get rich quick. So you have to understand what you're investing in. It's an investment. And the Rule 1 series is really good.
No, that's awesome. So Paul, if somebody's watching this and they have a question for you, they want to get a hold of you, there's so many ways to communicate nowadays. Do you prefer LinkedIn? Do you prefer an email? What's the best way to communicate?
Yeah, email. Paul at newavesolutions.com is my email, or Paul at paulnickens.com. Either way, they get to me. I love helping people succeed. That's one of my kazones. I learned from Life Church, is mine is giving others the opportunity to succeed. And I'm strong with that. It's just, if you come to me, I will listen to you and help you get on a path of success, hopefully. But it has to start with God. It always has to start with God to be successful in anything you do. So.
Well, thanks everybody. Kellen with Newave Solutions. Paul, thanks for giving today.
Thanks. I appreciate it, buddy.